Hello and welcome to the Broken Trust Tales channel. We hope you enjoy today's story. Ethan sits alone in his dimly lit living room, flipping through old photos on his phone. The screen reflects his nostalgic smile as he looks at pictures of himself and Sophia. Anniversaries, vacations, moments of shared joy. A soft piano melody plays in the background, setting a melancholic tone. He narrates in a deep, reflective voice. I thought my life was perfect. A loving wife, a stable job, a future I could count on. But sometimes, the people closest to you hold the sharpest knives. The camera pans to a framed photo of Ethan and Sophia on their wedding day. His gaze hardens as he sets the frame down. He recalls the first sign of something being off. Missed calls, vague excuses about late meetings, and a distance in her eyes that hadn't been there before. Ethan's suspicions come to a head one night when Sophia leaves her phone unattended. A notification pops up, a message from Elle. Hesitating at first, Ethan finally opens the chat. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. Last night was amazing. I can't wait to see you again. As he scrolls, he finds pictures and plans they made behind his back. A cold sweat breaks out on his forehead, and his hands shake as he clutches the phone. His voiceover continues. There it was, the truth laid bare. My wife wasn't just unfaithful, she was planning a life with someone else. The scene ends with Ethan pacing the room, the phone still in his hand. His world has officially fallen apart. The confrontation between Ethan and Sophia happens the same evening. Ethan places her phone on the table as she walks into the room, her smile faltering when she sees the look in his eyes. Who's Liam? Ethan asks, his voice calm but trembling slightly. Sophia freezes. Her excuses come tumbling out, but they're weak and fragmented. She tries to downplay it. It's not what you think. It was just one mistake. Ethan, however, isn't buying it. His voice rises as his bottled-up emotions spill over. One mistake? I saw the messages, Sophia. I saw the pictures. How many mistakes does it take to destroy a marriage? The tension escalates as Ethan demands the truth, and Sophia finally admits to the affair. She tries to justify her actions, blaming Ethan for being too distant or too focused on work. This only fuels Ethan's anger, and the argument spirals into a storm of accusations and tears. After the confrontation, Ethan finds himself alone in their bedroom. The silence is deafening. He sits on the edge of the bed, his hands covering his face as tears stream down. How do you process something like this? How do you look at the person you thought you'd spend your life with and see a stranger? A liar? The camera lingers on Ethan as he glances at the wedding ring on his finger. Slowly, he removes it and places it on the bedside table. The act feels final, yet it's only the beginning of his journey. After the confrontation with Sophia, Ethan is consumed with anger and a need for justice. However, something shifts when he accidentally runs into Emma, Liam's wife. He doesn't expect to find her at the local coffee shop, but when their eyes meet, there's a shared pain in both of them. Ethan hesitates at first, unsure of how to approach her. Emma looks vulnerable, her usual confidence shattered. Ethan, sensing her distress, offers a simple, "I'm sorry." But Emma, with teary eyes, acknowledges the truth of his words. She's known about her husband's affair for some time but couldn't bring herself to confront him. Their conversation flows naturally. They share their stories. Emma admits she feels betrayed and humiliated, just like Ethan. As they talk, they both realize how much they've been hurt by the people they trusted the most. The connection between them grows, not out of pity, but a mutual understanding of pain and loss. Emma reveals how she always knew something was off, but the truth hit her like a wrecking ball. Ethan is torn between sympathy for Emma and his burning desire for revenge. But as they sit together, a plan begins to form in his mind, not just for payback, but as a way to reclaim some control over the situation. The idea of taking Emma on a public date, something both unexpected and audacious, starts to seem more and more like the perfect revenge. Ethan and Emma's bond deepens over shared pain, and Ethan starts to see an opportunity for emotional retribution. They talk about Sophia and Liam, about the life they thought they had, and how both of them have been manipulated. In a moment of clarity, Ethan says, "I think it's time we give them a taste of their own medicine." Together, they begin plotting how they'll turn the tables. Ethan's goal isn't just to hurt Sophia and Liam, but to show them the consequences of their betrayal, to force them to feel what he feels. The idea of revenge is no longer just a way to strike back. It becomes a tool to regain control of their lives. Ethan and Emma agree to go on the date. They choose a fancy, upscale restaurant that Sophia and Liam frequent, knowing they'll likely see them. On the night of the date, Ethan dresses in sharp, casual clothes. Emma, now more confident in her own power, chooses a sleek dress that subtly reveals her transformation from victim to someone taking charge. As they sit down, there's an awkward tension, but it quickly fades as they begin to enjoy each other's company. They laugh, joke about the absurdity of the situation, and even find moments of genuine connection. Ethan notices how much Emma has blossomed in such a short time, her strength emerging as they share stories of their own heartbreaks. The real kicker is when the two of them leave the restaurant. They intentionally make sure Sophia and Liam see them together. Ethan even casually posts a picture from the date on social media, tagging Emma, making sure it's visible enough for Sophia to notice. They don't hide their laughter or the joy they find in each other's company, despite the pain behind it. The next morning, Ethan knows that Sophia and Liam will be furious. He's prepared for their anger, but he also knows it's all part of the plan. This isn't about quiet revenge. It's about making them uncomfortable and forcing them to face the reality of their actions. Ethan's voiceover explains, "They won't expect this. They think they can play with our lives, but now they'll understand the consequences." As expected, the reactions pour in. Sophia is enraged, calling Ethan in a panic, demanding to know what's going on. She tries to justify herself again, but this time Ethan won't listen. "You thought you could destroy our marriage without consequences, but here we are," Ethan says coldly. Liam also tries to reach out, but Ethan ignores his calls, knowing the emotional storm has just begun. As Ethan and Emma continue with their revenge plan, their bond deepens in ways neither of them anticipated. What began as a partnership out of shared pain begins to feel more like a real connection. During their meetings and late-night conversations, they open up to each other in ways they hadn't before. Ethan, once consumed by rage and betrayal, starts to see a new side of Emma, her resilience, her intelligence, and her quiet strength. She's not just the victim of Liam's betrayal. She's someone who's learned to survive and adapt. Likewise, Emma starts to view Ethan not as just the wronged husband, but as someone who's gone through hell and come out stronger. They share stories of their pasts, how they met their spouses, the little things they once loved about their marriages. One evening, after a particularly meaningful conversation, Ethan realizes that their connection has grown into something more than just a shared desire for revenge. They laugh together, but there's a flicker of something else in their eyes, an unspoken attraction that neither of them expected. The emotional complexity starts to weigh on Ethan as he wonders, am I just using her for revenge? Or is there something real between us? Ethan starts to question his own motives. Is he taking revenge too far? Should he be moving on from his pain and anger instead of letting them control him? In the quiet of his apartment, he stares at a picture of Sophia and him, remembering the good times. There's a guilt in his heart as he looks at Emma, who's become both a friend and someone who fills the empty spaces Sophia once did. Ethan's voiceover reveals his emotional turmoil. "I wanted justice, but now I wonder, what does justice even look like? Does it lie in making them feel the way I do, or in letting go and finding something new?" The final confrontation takes place in a dramatic, high-stakes showdown. Ethan has planned this moment meticulously, wanting to face both Sophia and Liam at once. He sets up a meeting where they're forced to confront him, Emma, and the consequences of their actions. Sophia, furious, demands to know why Ethan would do something so cruel. She claims that Ethan never understood her needs, that the affair was a mistake, and tries to make excuses. Liam, on the other hand, is defensive and angry, trying to brush everything off as a temporary affair that doesn't mean anything. But Ethan won't back down. He's done being the silent, betrayed husband. This time, he's in control. Ethan finally says the words he's been holding back. "You think I'm cruel? You're the ones who broke something sacred. You think I'm punishing you? Number, I'm giving you the consequence of your betrayal." Sophia and Liam are stunned as Ethan and Emma stand together side by side. Their faces are a mixture of fury and humiliation. For the first time, they realize that they've lost control. Their affair has cost them not just the trust of the people they betrayed, but their dignity as well. But then, a twist takes place. Emma drops a bombshell that no one saw coming. She reveals a secret she's kept hidden, something that turns the tables. Perhaps she exposes Liam's past affairs, or reveals that she's been recording their conversations all along to gather evidence for her own plan. This revelation is enough to shake the entire dynamic. Ethan watches as Sophia and Liam crumble under the weight of their own lies, while Emma stands tall. Ethan's voiceover reflects the emotional shift. It's not just about revenge anymore. It's about reclaiming everything they tried to take from us. Our self-respect, our dignity, our right to move on. The final emotional twist comes when Ethan is faced with a choice. Will he forgive Sophia for the sake of closure and peace? Or will he continue down the path of vengeance, letting it define him forever? Will he pursue a relationship with Emma? Or will he choose to let go of both the pain of his past and the emotional connection they've built? As the confrontation ends, Ethan decides, but instead of a clear-cut answer, the resolution is left open-ended. Does he seek redemption? Or does he let the flames of revenge burn his past to the ground? After the intense confrontation, Ethan is left standing at a crossroads. He's not just torn between revenge and forgiveness. He's also realizing that the pain of the past won't just disappear because he made others suffer. The weight of everything, Sophia's betrayal, his plan with Emma, and the final confrontation, hits him harder than he expected. Ethan and Emma sit down after the confrontation, both of them emotionally drained. The silence between them is heavy. Finally, Ethan breaks the silence. "I thought this would make me feel better, make me feel like I had the control again, but it feels like I'm just as lost as I was before." Emma looks at him, understanding his turmoil. She too has been through the emotional ringer, and she knows that revenge, though sweet in the moment, leaves its own scars. She tells him softly, "I don't know if we can ever erase the pain they caused us, but maybe it's time we let go of the need to punish them and just start living for ourselves." Ethan stares at her, the weight of her words sinking in. The anger that once consumed him begins to feel pointless. Maybe the real revenge is in rebuilding his life, finding peace, and not letting his past define him forever. Sophia calls Ethan one last time, this time with an apology, one that sounds sincere. She admits she made a mistake and that she's ashamed of her actions. She begs for another chance, but Ethan is no longer the man who was desperate to fix what was broken. He's changed, and his answer is final. "I can't keep living in the shadow of what you did, Sophia. I've let go, and I'm moving on." Sophia pleads, but it's clear to Ethan that this isn't about her anymore. It's about him, and what he's learned. He's learned to stand up for himself, to break free from toxic patterns, and to stop seeking validation from those who never deserved it. He's done with the lies. On the other side, Emma decides to walk away from her marriage with Liam. She tells him that she's done trying to make things work with someone who betrayed her trust so completely. Liam's response is more anger, but Emma doesn't flinch. She stands tall and walks away, finally ready to reclaim her life. Ethan is left standing at the edge of something new. He's no longer tied to Sophia's betrayal or consumed by revenge. Instead, he's free to make a choice about what comes next. With Emma, the connection that was once born of pain is now evolving into something else. Something that could turn into a new beginning for both of them. Ethan looks at Emma, and they exchange a silent understanding. They both know that their paths may cross again, but it's no longer about vengeance. It's about healing, growth, and the possibility of a future, either together or apart. In the end, revenge didn't give me the peace I thought it would. It was the freedom to choose, to stop being defined by what happened to me, and to start building something real. Maybe I'll never get the closure I wanted, but I'm done waiting for it. The next chapter of my life is mine to write. The story ends with Ethan walking away from the ruins of his past, his future uncertain, but filled with possibility. The camera pans up to the sky as the credits roll, leaving the audience to ponder Ethan's journey and the true cost of revenge.